Hello everyone, how's your day been? Today, I wish to talk about action games versus turn-based games. Everyone got an opinion on this, but opinions are opinions, of course, and everyone is allowed to have one. Enjoy what you enjoy. However, if you are one of those who thinks that, for example, turn-based combat is objectively inferior, then we start to enter in the realm of the very stupid. And by that I mean WoW players calling FF14 players furries level of stupid. We would like to apologize for calling WoW players stupid, even if it's true. I will talk about the two approaches with combat now, so let's get started. It is no secret that turn-based combat took a backseat of action combat. It used to be way more prevalent in the 90s, early 2000s, but slowly got faded away to be now considered a more niche genre. Of course, back then, there was hardware limitations, so it was easier to get good results programming turn-based combat for the game. Real-time combat's quality improves with better animations, smoothness, and response to button mashing. But since technology did catch up, we are in a position to create, in theory, the best action combat possible. So what makes real-time combat so interesting for the common folk? Well, real-time combat finally gives them the challenge they all deserve. Even though we don't see a lot of them on Quake or RTS games, they try it, they get spanked, and they run away like good little. We would like to apologize for calling boastful but unskilled player bitches, even if it's true. Obviously, skill is not the reason why turn-based games took a backseat over its action counterpart. Let's talk about difficulty. I do hear a lot that it is easier for older people to pick up turn-based games. I disagree with that statement to some extent. Unless you suffer from some underlying conditions, it is very easy to play games like Skyrim if you give it a serious try. What I would like to differentiate here is I think it is easier to pick up turn-based games compared to more technically challenging action games. But is the turn-based genre necessarily easier? No. You have to realize that most of the turn-based games made today are just ridiculously easy. Almost all of them, in fact. So of course anyone can play them. Instead of that, give your grandpa Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories to play with, and watch your share of the inheritance go down in flames. Why do I say it is incredibly stupid to say that one is objectively better than the other? Because the skill set these games require are vastly different. If one calls for reflexes and precision during gaming sessions, the other calls for thinking processes, which is maybe why less and less people do play them. We would like to apologize for saying that the people of today are stupider than the people of the past, which of course isn't true. Or is it? Turn-based games do not need to be complicated to be fun, but to make it more challenging, it needs to get your gears grinding. Difficult turn-based games require oftentimes two things: preparation or mastery of the subject before even really starting the game, and of course thinking while playing. If both requirements are pushed to the extreme, you have a game like chess, where if you didn't start playing as a child to the point you evolve into a cerebral biomutant, it is basically impossible to become a grandmaster. Unless you have a great gut feeling or just slightly below that. Is there any interest in turn-based games in general? I would argue yes. We don't even need to look at video games. Just look at trading card games in general. Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, One Piece, Digimon, Magic, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra. Okay, never mind, this one belongs in the dumpster. Tabletop RPGs are another example that are played by many, many more people. Huge franchises like Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Suikoden, how many banger games spawned from this era and are all turn-based. Today we can look at Baldur's Gate 3. Is Baldur's Gate 3 a niche game? Just because someone doesn't like turn-based combat does not make Baldur's Gate 3 a niche game, considering the amount of people that played it and enjoyed it. Ask yourself that question. Would action combat make BG3 better? I think at best it is the same quality but a different experience. Do I like a good action game? Yes. There are some games that fills you with non-stop adrenaline and you just can't get enough of it. As a small tangent, I would like to say that technical action combat does not have a place in every game. While I do think, for example, Hogwarts Legacy's combat is well designed, I had a more enjoyable time with the older Harry Potter games where fantasy and fun was more at the forefront. So, why are not more turn based games being played? In my opinion, there are just not enough of these games being presented to a wider audience. I mean, a lot of people play or did play TFT, a perfect example of a single game that had a lot of success while not being nearly as ambitious as BG3. And let's be honest, it's just copied homework like all the other games from Riot. Studios that make turn-based games nowadays are mostly smaller indie studios. So the game do have less funding and less exposure, but the moment the games have both and the games are good, they will be played like any other game. Action games and turn-based games are two different genres, nothing more, nothing less. If you want to continue to pitch the two genres against each other, you will have to answer another question first. Which one is the better game? Doom or Animal Crossing?